then break, get some lunch quickly, come back and sit, and then we'll do some presentations and we'll have breakout sessions. Okay? Does that sound good? All right. With that.
Assalamualaikum everyone. My name is Nida. Okay, by show of hands, show me how many of you are here because you want to start a business? And then how many of you are here because there's free lunch? No one is here for the food. I love that. Okay, great. So we're going to start with the first activity. And the first activity is all the popular entrepreneurs and personalities are like contributors to the Islamic world. We have different names of those personalities here. We're going to tape one of the person behind your back. So you wouldn't know which personality you got. So you have to go and talk to other people and ask them questions about you. So you can say, am I someone who's dead or alive? Am I someone who's... So you would ask different questions to deduce who it could be. It could be anyone from the old Islamic world to present generation non-Muslim entrepreneurs. Like it could be any personalities that are really popular. So it could be any of those. I did remove, like there are female entrepreneurs and male entrepreneurs, so I will definitely make sure that you get a male person if you are male, and then a female personality for the females. So we'll get started on that. Does anyone have questions about the activity? Yes. Okay, that's fine.
Bring one person at a time, tie it up.
Yeah, I think Brother Muhammad is going to help me put it on all the boys. They just have to tape it, and then I'll do all the... Yeah. Okay, but they cannot see who's they're getting.
Should we call them here, or should we put it on everybody? Okay.
I got another one.
You cannot see for the first year.
Let's not forget this continues during food of the home, taking some pictures.
Keep the pens with you. We'll leave those.
They have to get up and walk around. Okay, so you guys have to get up and walk around. One, two, three. Yeah, this is easy. Yeah.
Okay, let's start. Ask the question.
Okay, make sure the questions are yes or no answers. So you can't ask, like, what's my name? They shouldn't be able to tell you. So it has to be yes or no answers to your questions. Get around, move around, and ask different people.
Make it a fun activity, guys. Make them think what you are. Just a hint, these are all successful business owners. Okay. Arhan, okay, you have a question? Ask me questions. Yes. These are successful businesses, okay? Go ahead. You may not know the answer, but keep asking questions. It's in online services. It's related to Muslim. Yeah.
So we have the first winner already. So talking about competition, can you tell us, can you give them hints on what kind of questions you asked to get to where you got to?
Yeah. So the first question I asked was, am I like famous? Like, am I well known?
So she's telling her order of operation.
The second question I asked was, am I white? Oh, sorry. Yeah, okay, so the first question I asked was, am I famous? Like, am I really well known? The second question was, am I white? The third question was, am I Muslim? The fourth question was, do I own a makeup brand? And then I figured it out after that question. Huda? Yeah.
Great, thank you.
So, excellent, guys. Help each other out. Ask questions. Yeah.
So real quick, if you've never heard of the people, it's a great way. If you have phones, you can look it up and kind of give them hints. So if you have phones, you can use phones.
Okay, ask questions. You figured out your?
I figured out mine.
Okay. Go ahead, the questions you asked.
Oh, I forgot.
Okay.
Wait.
You figured it out, okay, good. Did you? Okay. So ask questions. So yeah, you were asking, it's a Muslim guy. Yeah, Muslim person. Okay.
Is my guy alive?
No.
Yes.
Yeah, he's alive, yes, he's alive. Ask questions.
Okay. Is he
Yours is online business, you said, yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, yours was the online business, you asked me.
online
Yeah.
business? Did he become famous at a young age?
Yes,
So
yes,
his business was popular early.
yes. Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, what was it?
Good job.
Go ask questions.
You need help? Ask question. Yeah, go ahead, ask questions.
I don't know.
Ask question. That's what part.
But I don't know.
The purpose of this exercise is to get in the habit of asking questions. Think outside the box. Think what other questions can be asked that can get you to where you want to be. Okay, yours is going to be hard. Yeah, that was going to be hard. You guys figured it out? Ask questions.
This is so easy.
Did you figure it out? Your question? Ask questions.
Oh my god, why? What did he found? Italian?
No, that's what you got to. That's not a valid question. Okay, let me see. Okay, so what are the different areas of business?
What did he? What is this?
It's a non-profit. It's a non-profit. Okay.
Found Alex Ray's a mathematician.
Okay, you figured yours out?
I don't know who it is though.
Okay, that's fine. See, that's help him out.
I am trying.
Okay. Did you figure out yours? Ask questions. Don't be quiet.
He's not asking any questions. Did he invent? Oh yeah, I have no idea. Did he invent a successful business? No. I don't know. This is like. You know what that is? You do?
No, it's okay. Ask questions. Okay, we got to cut it now. Time is running out. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So, how many of you guys figured it out? Okay. Okay, can we get back to the seats now? Whoever figured it out, that's good. Whoever couldn't, we'll get you the idea of what we are trying to do here. Good, mashallah. Come back to your seats. Come back to your seats. Okay. So raise your hand if you were able to figure out your answer. Raise your hand if you were able to figure out your answer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5, 6. 3 plus 3, 6 people, right? So the purpose of the exercise was to get in the habit of asking questions and discover an answer from it, right? And also make you aware of all the big entrepreneurs who have been successful and launched their businesses, created employment, spread goodness in most cases, and then made a lot of money and were able to contribute to a charitable causes. Okay? With that said, I think we'll take a quick break for lunch. It's in the kitchen there. Grab something real quick and inshallah come back here in 5 minutes, 5 to 7 minutes, okay?
I did hear a bunch of you say in the room that you didn't know who the person behind you taped was. So your assignment will be to research on them and kind of figure out what kind of difference they've made. Go get your lunch.
Anyways, what's the date? November 3rd. Here. I don't want one. Okay, I can take it off. Is your mom here?
so I'll just give out this. You can just put it on there.
Who's sitting where? Yeah, right there. Maybe we can split them up and just say, take one and pass it on.
Yeah. Yeah, that might work. So,
I just brought back so many memories of like
School.
university. Like take
Yes.
one, pass it on. Oh,
no,
no.
even the presentation, I was like,
Oh,
wow,
no.
this is like old times. Yeah. Wait, when did you graduate?
I graduated 6 years ago.
That's not that far.
It feels like it was a long time ago. My body feels like it was a long time ago.
I graduated in 2010 with my master's.
Oh, see, at least you got something to show for a master's. Where did you go to school?
I went to University of Houston.
Okay. I thought for some reason I thought you went here locally.
I just
Are you
moved here
originally from
2018.
Texas?
Yeah. No, I'm originally from Pakistan, brought up in Saudi Arabia.
No way.
And
That's
then
so interesting.
I did high school in upstate New York.
And then you went to Texas?
And it was a boarding school. So like I came 7 seas away when I was 15.
How long were you in Saudi Arabia?
Like until I was 14.
Do you speak Arabic?
No,
Fully, no?
Saudi Arabia, the way when you're brought up there, especially my dad worked for an American Saudi Aramco, I don't know.
Yeah, the gas.
So they have like a separate camp for like all expats.
Yeah.
And then we don't interact. It's
With-
like living in mini America.
In a little bubble. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard about that. Yeah, there's some people who were saying that kids who grew up there. We had our own little community. We just interacted with.
Yeah. So it's pretty sad that we didn't get to learn the
Yeah.
language of the
Language.
nation.
Yeah.
It's so sad now when I look at it.
It would be so
It
useful.
would be so useful, yes. But my husband, he grew up in Dubai. He knows Arabic. Because I guess men interact with,
With other.
like, because in Saudi Arabia, we didn't interact with
Yeah,
locals.
anybody.
Yeah. Because my dad did all the bargaining in the store, so we didn't even really do any interaction, even from a transaction perspective. Yeah. Plus, I was only 14.
And then you went to New York. And then
New York for high school.
New York high school.
I was a boarding school, so that was an experience. But from there, I went to Dubai for 2 years of college. It had a direct association. You know how people do community college and
Sure.
then they transfer to a university? So it was like community college doing in Dubai, but then I transferred, all my credits transferred. So when I moved to
So
Houston.
bizarre. These
And
are
I
things
paid-
I've never heard of before.
Okay, but it's so cool because we paid 2 years of the tuition. It would have cost here for just 1 semester. I paid 2 years.
Yeah, no, that's
Over
what I'm saying.
there.
I can only imagine. That's so interesting.
And then it all transferred. I didn't waste any credit. So it was perfect. And I ended up meeting my husband there.
What
So.
kind of so was it like an American college school that was there, or was it a?
Yeah, it's an American university. Yeah. Called, I don't remember. It had an association with city of something? I don't remember what it was called. But yeah, I moved to Houston. They transferred all my credits, and I graduated in 2 years. And then right away, actually, because of my credits were higher, in my last semester of undergrad, I was able to do 1 semester of master's. By the time I graduated, I already had 1 semester, so in 1 year I got a master's.
Yeah, that's great.
So it was pretty fast. Yeah, I don't know. Do you work right now?
Yeah.
Or-
No,
This
this
is
is
your-
just like I'm just helping out. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. No, I
So-
work for, you heard of Alpha Financial FinTech? I work for them. I'm part of their media and like video production.
Oh, video production.
Yeah. I do all that.
That's
We work with marketing a lot. We do like commercials. We do all sorts of stuff.
wow. Yeah.
But this is just helping out.
Yeah. So you do like the marketing, video production.
Yeah. So we do everything from like in-person live conferences, like actual.
So this is like
Yeah,
you're
so-
right up your alley.
This hurts my heart right now. What we're doing, like with the way it's set up.
Yeah,
It's like,
you're just like,
I went to this funny. I don't know if you've heard of the Sheikh. It's Sheikh Yahya Rabi. He's a very famous Quran reciter. in
No, I
the
don't
UK.
know.
He came to San Diego, and they have like a conference. And it was like $10. So my friends and I went there. great shape. Wanted to just sit and listen to the lecture. So we went. It was down south somewhere, and when we got there, that like the big thing hall, 300 people, but everything like, logistically, AV wise, was just a mess. And my friend was like, "You gotta help them.
Yeah.
Because they looked like they were struggling. So
Oh
like
no.
15 minutes into the introduction part, I went up to help the guy.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Hey, can I?" He's like, "Oh yeah, sure." And we ended up for the rest of the 2-3 hour program. I worked the whole program. I didn't get a chance to listen or sit down. So it was
But it's so
interesting.
funny because so we just did a conference in LA. Like so my company we do like the company I work for the full time thing. It's a marketing firm for like financial institutions. So there's a conference happening specifically for credit unions in LA. And my kind of organization was kind of organizing it. And we got a bill just for AV.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's expensive.
Just for AV, it was $20,000, $20 or $25,000.
That doesn't even. That's low. How many people were there?
It was very small. It was like 80.
Under 100?
80, yeah, under
Yeah,
100.
that's actually good. Yeah.
Really?
That's actually a good.
I was like, oh my God, this is the first time they did it. And I didn't know the billing of all these things. And I was like, AV, he didn't even do anything. I had to use my own clicker. I had to bring my own laptop.
I'm thinking 20, 30,000 should have been like great. You guys should have been very comfortable. Like,
No.
should have had a team.
So I had to ask a favor from him to give me the connector because first of all they didn't bring a laptop, so I had to use my laptop, and then they didn't give me a connector because mine doesn't have an HDMI. So I was like, at least do me a favor, and he's like, it's not part of your contract to get a connector.
Was the AV part of the hotel or part of the?
No, it was a separate service they hired.
Really?
He was doing all the sound system for the main keynote speakers, but I was a breakout speaker. Breakout, they completely let go. They didn't.
They do it with the room.
They just left you with the room, and then like that thing, the screen, it had like a little bit of like just a slight bit of turns on it, and I was like, no, this is not clear. Like I want it straight, pushed out. Like, she's like, I'm sorry, I can't do anything.
That's not good. I would expect that from like dedicated like hotel AV or AV that belongs to that like hall or whatever. But usually if you outsource to a third party, like that's a big deal. Like
Yeah, it was an outsourced company, but
Yeah.
they only sent 2 people. One was the main DJ guy who was controlling all the sound bubbles and everything for the main keynote. So I went to him, and then he sent one guy to our room, and then that guy kept saying that, oh, I can't do anything. That's not part of your contract. That's what the boss told me.
That's so important.
And then later we got that bill, and I was like, seriously, they were the worst.
Yeah. No, that's so on top of my actual 9 to 5 job, and I have a business running company that I run with a partner of mine. But we don't do a lot of live stuff because it takes a lot of manpower.
So what do you do?
So we mainly do like social media content, branding, like marketing videos, things like that. That's kind of what we mainly
Like
do.
for which industry?
Mainly for food and beverage. So like restaurants.
Wait, do you run like who runs the SoCal
Oh, that's somebody out of like I think it's out of like LA or something.
Yeah, because I was like, that must be something local, because it sounds like.
Yeah. I don't know. I think one of my friends I think knows who it is. But they're doing good work.
They're
They
doing
do
good.
great. Yeah.
And so many people are starting like food, just niche food reviews.
Yeah.
And they're like 10 people, and they all 10 are doing good. So it's like you can't just give up because one person is doing it, you
Yeah,
just give up on the idea. Because no one's going to put the same twist that you
Like
were.
you will put your personality.
Exactly.
My wife was saying that she's so cool. I guess there's like a $200 or something box of cookies you can buy online. I don't know. It's like a budget cookies.
Yeah.
$200. And she got it. And she's like, I want just for the family, not for me. I want us to do a food like a review of all these 20 cookies. They're like very expensive, like $200 for 20 cookies, ridiculous.
$200 for 20, and she ordered them.
She ordered them, and she was like, please don't come fucking mad. I'm gonna tell you something. I mean, it's gonna be fun, this and that. So, but
Wait,
yeah,
is she here?
she's not here today. No. She usually comes for like.
What's her name?
Her name's Auto.
Oh, I don't know.
But no, she said the same thing. She was like, it'll be fun. We can do it. And they know who you are and your personality to twist. So yeah, to your point, absolutely. Definitely.
I mean, times like I've just seen like there used to be two really good ones, and now they're like 10 or 15, and they're all good. They're all because the new restaurants keep popping up too. Over here, the food scene is not. It's too much. Like, you know, you can't.
Much more than what we have here.
All they have is places to eat out.
I've got literally a month ago, we went to Dallas for like 4 days. All we did was eat. That's all we did. That's all we did. There was nothing else to do. We just went and ate. I think we went. Yeah. But yeah, so that's it's fun. It's good. Let me start validating.
Tell your friend you're Elon Musk.
Okay. Assalamualaikum. Did everyone enjoy their lunch? Yeah, ready for some learning? Okay, great. This is going to be a lot more interactive, so we're going to be asking questions in the middle. Feel free to jump in if you have thoughts, ideas. No wrong answers here. So let's get started. My name is Nida Ijaz, and I'm the Senior Vice President of Marketing for a marketing agency called Figra Solutions, and I also am the founder of Imantrepreneur. The goal for Imantrepreneur was basically to encourage Iman-conscious entrepreneurship, and we started back when I was pregnant with my son, who's here, who's 11 now. So I, at that time, wanted to do something where I was putting the focus on or spotlight on Muslim entrepreneurs who are successful and doing things great and using their stories to encourage other people, because not everyone gets success overnight. So that was when we had a large following on Facebook. Now we're on to Instagram, and I'm trying to get that going. So if you want to scan and like us on Instagram, that'd be great. And then I have Brother Ashraf here with me.
So I'm Ashraf Memon. I am a serial entrepreneur. This is my 7th venture, travel agency, wholesale groceries, furniture business online, real estate construction, then real estate brokerage, another tech firm, then some consulting, and now I have a firm which is in medical software, remote monitoring of patients. Been in this for the last 7-8 years, alhamdulillah, being good so far. And recently co-founded Mayman Leadership Institute to teach kids on the topics and lessons which they don't teach in school. So I'm one of the co-founders. My 2 other kids, Arhan sitting here, is one of the other ones. And I have a daughter, she's the 3rd co-founder. So that's me. Inshallah, my QR code doesn't take you anywhere. Maybe it takes her to, no, I did not, did you put it? Oh, perfect. Mayman Leadership Institute. Thank you, Jazakallahukhairan. So it takes you there. So we'll be organizing more programs, more elaborate programs on this, inshallah. So stay tuned. So with that, I'll give the mic back.
Okay, so what we're going to be going, so because this is such a deep topic and really requires a bunch of workshops to go through, so we're going to do a very zoomed out version of this and kind of go over everything from start to finish. First of all, with why start a business, then generating ideas, and how to figure out if your ideas are good, and research and validation through it. And then the next 3 are planning, developing, and funding, and then overall key takeaways. Did you have something?
So I just want to introduce Sister Anika Hijazi. She'll be helping us with the breakout sessions. So she's a CFO in a company, mashallah. So she is here with wealth of knowledge and expertise. So please feel free to reach out to one of us during the breakout sessions.
So why start a business? Who can answer that question for me? Yes, go ahead. To get money. That's okay. Any other answers? That's good, but that I'm looking for more motivation than just money. Yes?
To find a solution to a problem.
Good job. What kind of problems can we solve in today's day and age? Any ideas? Okay. So let me first go into why, as Muslims, we need to be starting a business. If you research and learn about the Islamic Golden Age, it was a period of remarkable cultural, economic, and scientific flourishing. And a lot of those personalities were taped behind your back for the icebreaker, for you to kind of get to know them. So that's why I said, let's research on them. And it was the best time where Muslims had contributed from everything from medicine to astronomy, mathematics, philosophy, geography. I mean, you had the father of algebra was during this golden age. Medicine, Ibn Sina, made huge contributions. So there's so much and wealth of information that we can learn just from our Muslim Islamic history and get inspired to embed that within our framework as we're thinking of new ideas. Now, benefits of entrepreneurship. Obviously, you said right there that money is a contributor for doing entrepreneurship. So financial independence, starting a business allows you to create an income stream, not just for yourself, but benefiting others in the community. It's also skill building. The best way to learn is to actually get started on something instead of questioning, asking, researching. The best way is to implement it yourself and get started. So running a business, even though Brother Ashraf had mentioned he has done multiple businesses, there are ways that you can learn even from successful businesses or failures as well. And then positive community impact. So now you're not just talking about your financial contribution, you're at a point where once you start, you can start something bigger, something other people are going to believe in, something where you can lead teams, you can make a movement, you can revolutionize certain industries. So even though you are just maybe in high school or college right now, I want you to think big, or even middle school. I don't want you to stop where you are, just jump in, get started, and see where it takes you.
So it all sounds pretty good, right? Being an entrepreneur. Do you know what a life of an entrepreneur looks like? Or even a day of an entrepreneur looks like, or a week or a month? This is true depiction of what it looks like. I go through this, sometimes all of these emotions in one day. Several examples of this, right? Like you wake up in the morning, yes, I'm excited. Let me make something and make something happen. Within 3 hours or in a week, let's say take week as an example, right? Monday you say I'm excited. Tuesday you get up in the morning, so my God, it's so hard. How am I going to do that? How will I survive this week? And this may happen to some of you while in school, right? This is also, so some of that we go through as an entrepreneur. You experience that in your life also. Third day, oh, it's working. I think I made it work. Yeah, I think I can make it work. Right after that, oh my God, what did I do? I messed up. How am I going to recover from that? 3 hours later, I think I made it happen. I think I solved the problem, right? Let's take it to the next level. And few hours later, I think, oh my God, we went through this experience 4 weeks ago. We are in business for 7 years. 4 weeks ago, we went through this. Okay? Go ahead. I went through this, my company. So you run into these situations as the months go by, as the weeks go by. And like I said, in some cases, when you're running a business, this is what your day looks like, hour by hour. Okay? So it's all good. We want you to do it. But the only thing that's making me go through this is the iman that when I started something, there is something bigger than me, way bigger planner than any one of us is there to support us. So whenever you run into a situation where you can't see how the next hour will look like, just have faith. Stay persistent. Just look at the next step I have to make. Literally, on the day we were going through this, I said, I don't care about what's happening tomorrow. Let's see how am I going to fix my day today. Alhamdulillah, the second day was better. The third day we could see the light. The fourth day things started happening. The only thing I have to say, my belief in Allah, that if I have made it this far, I'm not going bankrupt today. I'm not going bankrupt tomorrow. So remember this. The only thing that will make you survive is belief in Allah and then persisting. Don't give up. I know it will be hard some days, but don't give up, ever. So, and eventually you will reach there, inshallah. When you reach there, you know what you do? You not just create a template for the entire community, to your family, extended family, but the entire community. You know the owner of Chobani's, you eat the yogurt, is a Muslim. He made it out of a broken workshop, a factory that was failing. He converted that into a multi-billion-dollar yogurt industry. Okay? So I think one of you guys had that name behind you. So I'll give it back to Sister Nida for running this exercise.
So now we have an activity for you guys. If we want to just put it over there and then pass it. If you could take one and pass it around. It is an activity to find out, am I cut out to be an entrepreneur? So we'll give you 5 minutes to kind of go through this worksheet. And it has a scorecard on the 3rd page. So based on what all you answer, it gives you a scorecard. So you will also have to use some math and add it up and see where you land, what kind of entrepreneur you are. So we'll start the timer. Is everyone just about done? We are up with our 5 minutes. How are we looking? Everyone done with their worksheets? Okay. Anyone want to share what their result was, or anyone got surprised with their results? Anyone? Okay.
I wasn't really like surprised with my results. I think I answered all the questions honestly, and it makes sense of what I got. I got a score of 68, which means I got promising entrepreneur.
Anybody else want to share their characteristics, or if they got surprised by it, they were expecting this answer? Okay, raise your hand if you were expecting it. Oh, good. So you mean you know yourselves really well. And raise your hand if you got surprised by the answer. Some surprises. Great. Good discovery time.
So we'll go into some of the character habits that you need to be an entrepreneur, right? So the first and foremost is curiosity and creativity. Be curious. One of the exercises we did earlier is we asked you to ask questions. That's how you be curious. Start finding out. Think about it. Think about problems. All the entrepreneur names you heard earlier in that exercise activity, learn about them. What was their journey like? How did they make it happen? The other thing you need to do is constantly think of new ideas. What's going on? Look around yourself. There are millions of ideas around. I tell people, ideas are dime a dozen. Execution is important. Okay? So you may run into ideas. Find that thing that's missing in the equation every single day. When you're going to a mall, when you're sitting in the classroom, when you're sitting in the class, there are ideas floating around you. All you have to do is figure out what it is and how do I solve a problem. That's how you make a business. Next is willingness to experiment. Try it out. You think you failed? This country, being in the United States, failure is not a bad thing. It's okay. It's a setback. So don't worry about experimenting. It's okay if you failed. It's okay it didn't work out. You know what it does? What is one thing? You know Thomas Edison? Somebody said, hey, you have failed 1,000 times. So his answer was, any one of you? He said, I tried 1,000 times and I know how many times, what are the different options I cannot build a bulb. So he took that as, I'm not failed, I've learned 1,000 ways a bulb or electricity cannot be built. So always remember, do not be afraid of experimenting. Adaptability. I'll give you a personal example here, right? When you are in a business, what does adaptability means? I'm walking, okay, let me take a real life example, right? You have traveled with your parents. Sometimes you're driving on a freeway and there is a roadblock, there is construction going on. What do? Tell me, what do you do? Find a detour, right? What does that mean? Is that the end of life? No, it's a roadblock. So take a step back and say, oh, there must be a detour around you. So look at 3 or 4 directions and you will find an alternative. Okay? So always be ready to adapt. Be nimble. See, hey, I'm going this way. I thought the problem will be solved this way. Or it didn't. Take a step back. Let me look at this direction. That doesn't work. So always be nimble on your feet and adapt as you're progressing in your endeavor. Decisiveness. Extremely important for kids. Okay? Everyone, especially in entrepreneurship, every step of the way you will have to make decisions. It's okay, like I said, right? Do not be afraid of failure. Take calculated risk and take those decisions. Because if you are sitting and analyzing, you know what's ticking during that time? Time is ticking. So the opportunity may disappear. So whenever you are at a juncture, make a decision. It's okay if you fail. Keep going. Just take decisions. Leadership. Always remember, when you are doing entrepreneurship, you are taking a leadership position. So don't be afraid of guiding people, delegating things, telling people what to do. Okay, just take decisions. Make your leadership very impactful. Make sure that you're conveying your points. Risk tolerance, like I said, right? Take risk, it's okay. What is the worst that will happen? You will fail. You're not failing. You just have a setback. You just need to find the next step and find out what the solutions are every step of the way. Again, coming back, right? A lot of this is focusing on failure. So do not be afraid of failing, guys. I'm telling you, or girls, I'm telling you, this is my 7th venture. You think the previous 6 were all successful? 4 out of 6 failed. 2 of them were successful. Did I give up? The answer is no, because I learned every step of the way what does not work and what should I do better for my next venture, And you will run across this not just from business to business, from your day to day, from your idea to idea, from your execution to execution, from hiring to hiring. You may hire 3 people. 2 may not work out, 3rd one will. Then go hire 2 more. So just keep at it. Don't be afraid of failure. And be persistent. Stay at it. Do not give up. I know, I'll tell you there are solutions. Somebody who has been there and done that, I'm telling you, there is a detour every step of the way. When you see it's super dark, turn around and you will see another option. Go there, you may run into another darkness, turn around and you will see an option. And be truthful and fair to your own personal thing, to your customers, and also to your investors who have invested money in you. And persuade people, right? What is the one thing that every one of the person does in every single day? They sell. So learn to sell. When you're telling your parent, can I go to a sports game? What are you trying to do? You're persuading and you're selling. When you're going, you want to watch a movie, or you want a certain toy, or a certain iPhone, or a certain earphone, right? Constantly you're selling. Learn the art of selling. A lot of these are taught skills also. So if there is certain thing that you don't know, learn about it. There are classes about it. Okay? I'll give it back to Sister Nida on generating ideas.
Okay, that was really good as far as learning the characteristics. So between the activity sheet and all the characteristics that Brother Ashraf went through, you should have a good idea of what you are needing to become an entrepreneur. So let's discover a little about generating ideas and for business, what that means. So generating ideas comes from anywhere, as Brother Ashraf mentioned earlier. You can, any kind of problem that you identify, you can figure out a solution, or any kind of thing that you're noticing that is a hassle for you or a problem for you, that could be a solution. So recognize in a real world what are the problems that are unmet. And you might think in this day and age, like there's an app for that in everything, but there is still so much that is unmet needs that you can kind of discover. And we will learn this a little bit more in the breakout session with me. The other thing I want to tell you about is research current trends and future potential. So a lot of times when you're learning some new current trends and things that are happening in the world, it unlocks a little bit of things that you're like, why is it happening this way? I need to figure out a solution. I want to be contributing to the solution of this problem. So that's very important to think of it as that mindset. That's why in your activity, we were asking, are you keeping up with current events? So if you are not, that is very important as part of an entrepreneur, to kind of play up on what's going on and how to elaborate on that. So one key point I wanted to mention, if something similar exists in the market, do not get kind of away from the idea. I was just talking to Brother Muhammad over the break, is that there are a lot of people who think that, okay, because this idea has been done and over with, I am not going to go in this market. But there are enough fish in the sea where no one else is going to run this business like you are, like your voice. So it's very important for you, even if you're interested and passionate about this one thing that has a solution out there, it's a great idea for you to kind of see from the competitors, researching what works and what doesn't work for them and where's the gap. And then let's go to the next slide. Mhm.
How many of you have heard of Uber? And how many of you heard of Lyft? Lyft came out of Uber. You know that? They found inefficiencies in Uber and created Lyft. There are similar ideas, dime a dozen, like I said, right? Clone it. If there is something successful, clone it. An example is, I was telling some of the kids, you know Dave's Hot Chicken? Somebody created one and there is constantly creating models of it, right? That's how the franchises business works. They figure out how the business works and they clone it. And they have branded it as a Dave's Hot Chicken franchisee, but you could find some businesses and come up with those ideas. Find some ideas and build it.
Yeah, that's a very good point. And also cloning, you could always make the Muslim version of things. Like, for example, Launch Good is a Muslim version of a crowdfunding platform. So you could also come up with like a Muslim version of Netflix, Muslim version of everything that exists for the regular market. So that is a very good point. One thing I wanted to bring in, since we're still talking about ideation and while you're starting to build, I want you to remove yourself from what I want to sell when it comes to business. I want you to take it to the core first and identify why. What is the purpose? And that is going to be the biggest differentiator for you in the market. This is like the core of branding. Do you all know Simon Sinek? Anybody? If you do not, it's a huge personality. He's a motivational speaker, talks mainly about branding. This is his model. And he talks about how you have to start with the why. What is the purpose? Like, why do you want to sell this thing? So I'm not just trying to get into doing Quran classes. I want to change and revolutionize how Quran is taught. So that's an example of something where you take something, or I want to not just sell a soap, I want to be able to change how people clean them. So like it's a huge way of verbiage difference that makes a huge impact on you. Going from not starting from the product and service, but starting from the vision. Where do you want to make that change happen? And then go beyond that to the mission. And then from there, identifying the products and services. And we have some examples as we go through the presentation. So I know you had some types of businesses.
So I'll just quickly cover different areas, different concepts of businesses, right? I'll just load everything up. Maybe I should just do one at a time. Product selling. How many of you guys know people are selling paintings, hand-drawn paintings online? You know that, right? So what they are doing is creating a product and selling it online. There are similar things, handicrafts, things that people come up with. So that's the concept of selling products online. Then there is service business. An example of that is tutoring, pet sitting. Examples here, right? Cleaning services. What are the other? Give me one more service ideas that you can come up with. Anyone? Go ahead. Lawn mowing. There you go. Anyone from the girls? Uber, exactly. Anyone else? Babysitting also, right? Go ahead. Food delivery. So these are the service businesses. Find a need and solve it. Like sister said, right? You can find that we'll only deliver halal food. Not saying that that's a business idea, but think of it. Create businesses out there, because you know what Amazon's business is? Your inefficiency is my opportunity. That's how they created Amazon's selling online, right? Wherever they found inefficiencies that people don't like to go to store, we'll deliver it to you. Or it takes 4 days to deliver, we'll open a warehouse in your neighborhood. So that's how these businesses are built. Franchise business. An example is Dave's Hot Chicken. Remember I was telling you how Dave's Hot Chicken works? What they have done is they created one store. They said, oh, it's successful. Let me see if I can create a template out of it and open another store. Then they create a template. Then now they know the template works. What they did is said that, okay, whoever wants to open Dave's Hot Chicken, come to us. We'll give you the whole template. We'll give you our name, our branding, our utensils, the way we can. We'll give you the recipes and you go open the businesses. San Diego opened their first Dave's Hot Chicken, what, 5, 6 years ago? You know how many are there now? At least 5 or 6. At least 5 or 6. They are growing like crazy. That's a franchisee business. Another one is Great Clips. You go for haircut, that's a franchisee business. Somebody created a template and people are implemented. We have community members who own 6, 7, 10, 15 of those franchises. So that's also a business opportunity. Online business, right? Selling products, selling services. The company I have is a SaaS. We are selling software as a service. And we are selling medical devices as a service. We are selling medical employees as a service also. Sell software, organize ideas. All these AI companies you see nowadays, what are they? ChatGPT, what is it? Software as a service. Give me 2 more names of software as a service. AWS is software as a service. Netflix is software as a service. Right? They deliver content and software as a service. Non-profit businesses. Go ahead if you wanted to share. But non-profit businesses are, Launch Good is one such. So come up with an idea, right? Food delivery services. Somebody said, right? Opening a food pantry. So people can come in and pick up food for people who are not getting enough nutrition. They can come and pick up the food from a certain area. So there are a lot of concepts of business. You need to find your niche. You need to find what interests you and find one of the categories. And this is not an exhaustive list. This is a set of businesses. Another one is content-based. You want, sister will be...
Yeah, so content-based is everything like with the YouTube channels and things like that. I think my son was telling me about Mr. Beast and Mark Grover and people like that who've started YouTube ads and gotten a following going. So sometimes you go directly to the audience, build an audience for you, and then they're able to like kind of identify what products. So you don't have to stick to one. You can start off with one and then introduce a product base or a service that you're selling. So just expanding from not sticking into one of these, but starting with one and then moving on to the next few. Yeah. So some of the examples here where you're kind of looking at the problem and then looking at a solution. So there is no Muslim crowdfunding platform, so that's where LaunchGood came along. Or easy way for Muslims to find a match for marriage, that's where Muzmatch came along. Or building good character in Muslim kids through storytelling. The solution is Noor Kids. So there's so many, and all 3 of these solutions have competitors who've come out, and Muslims are a niche market, and they're all still successful. So you have to identify that whatever you are trying to do and you're passionate about, go for it. Here's an example of an interview we did with the author of Ilyas and Duck. It's a children's book author. And let's just see if it's gonna work, the video. He kind of told his story. I don't think, oh. Is there a volume?
The wrong reasons, and you probably heard this before, it's probably cliche, but if you're doing it... I think if you have an idea for a project or a business, you need to be passionate about it, because if you're doing it for the wrong reasons, and you probably heard this before, it's probably cliche, but if you're doing it for the wrong reasons, you're not going to follow through at times when you really should. Don't think that you have to wait until you graduate college to start life or to start an idea. And in fact, my other piece of advice is to parents. Parents should really be encouraging their kids to start projects or businesses, and they should have 20 different projects or businesses and have failed 19 times between the age of 10 and 20. The knowledge you gain and the experience you get, you can't get that in school. And the other thing I will say is that you can't do everything alone. So if you're in high school, be aware of who your friends are and what their talents are, because you want to team up as soon as you can. You don't build big things by doing everything yourself, right? You have to partner with others, and you have to leverage other people's talents to create something amazing.
So I think he talked a lot, and this was way before he moved to Qatar and turned Ilyas and Duck into a big production. But this was a children's author, just starting off with a small concept that he saw. He mentioned that there was no Mickey Mouse in that same video, and we'll share the slides so you can watch the full video. But it was talking about how there's no Mickey Mouse for Muslims. That's how his concept started, and how he turned it into something where he wants to turn it into a production. So moving right along, we want to kind of fly through these. It's research and validation. One of the main things I want to mention on this stage is, yes, you want to identify and you want to market research. There are a lot of tools out there to do that, and you want to identify the strengths, the weaknesses, the opportunities and threats you have within the market when you're looking at an idea to give it some sort of validation. But like Brother Ashraf mentioned before, you don't want to get stuck on this research and development phase and not ever launch or take action, because the best way of research and development is to just launch it and see how it goes. I know when we started like a t-shirt company back in 2010, we were so excited. We did all these designs. It was a very interesting pricing model where we would sell it in bulk to businesses, and then the business would give it out to individuals. We did a really good kind of launch, a big one, and then we launched, and then we saw that no one bought those, and they were so excited. We were getting followers, but no one was buying them. And then we got active feedback that, hey, your t-shirts are priced way too high. So we changed the price, and right away we started seeing sales. But you wouldn't have gotten that information unless you have launched. So it's very important to kind of research how much ever you want, but at the end of the day, you want to set a deadline for you to put a launch date together where you can go ahead and launch. And so we were able to successfully get to, within 2 years, $250,000 just from selling t-shirts. So that's like where you want to get to, and don't get discouraged. Like 6 weeks went by, no sales, and that shouldn't discourage you from the timeline of when you actually start making profit. Traditionally on business schools, they actually tell you any business that's starting to break even by the year 3 to 5 are doing good. So that means you do need to have patience with your business. Nowadays, with a kind of lower capital investment, you're able to see profits a lot faster, but I would just say the persistence and the patience really needs to be there. So just for the sake of time, you can watch this video later. We're gonna skip this for now and go right into planning a business. So developing a business plan and kind of setting the intentions. Of course, as Muslims, we have the biggest thing where your niyyah is so important. So your intention should be right. So whatever you're trying to launch, see how it aligns with your Islamic values and take small, consistent actions. I put a hadith over there. The most beloved of deeds to Allah are those that are most consistent, even if they're small. So if you're trying to aim for something big or a big change that you want to have, it's only achieved to small, consistent goals. You cannot jump to a final goal without doing small, consistent actions. Yeah? Excuse me? That's a very good question. So resources as a youngster, yes, you do face that, right? Like, how am I gonna fund these t-shirts? How can I even get started? I know my son is gonna start selling soaps at a fair right now. And I told him that whatever personal money that you have saved up, use that to order the supplies in Amazon. Or ask people like your parents are willing to fund your project sometimes if you sell them enough that you're going to make something happen. So sometimes reaching out to, and we're going to talk about the funding side of things to give you some ideas, but that's a very, very good question. As a youngster, that is a limiting factor, that you don't have the resources that someone who's working full-time and getting an income might not have. So you have to be creative when it comes to using the funds. As far as t-shirts, it's interesting, we had made a partnership with a company who does the print screening, and he was okay with us getting the order and giving it to him. He started doing the screen printing once he got the order, so we didn't have that overhead cost like you were mentioning. Good question though. Does that answer your question? Okay. All right, and then there is more information on the funding side as well that we'll go over in the presentation. And then for the branding, so how many of you know what a brand is? Can anyone tell me? What is a brand? What is branding? Yeah, go ahead. It's the what? The flag? Yeah, so like an emblem. Anyone else? Yeah. Yeah, go ahead. Oh, okay. Yeah. Very good, yes. So all of those are correct. Yeah, it is the identity. This is a very cohesive understanding of brand. So I'm glad you brought that up. It is the personal understanding. And each one of us, at the end of the day, build a brand. Like each of us have a personal brand, how we represent ourselves, how we interact with people. We all are kind of a walking, talking brand. Now, for an actual company, you really need to not just identify that it's just the look and the visual aspect of the brand. It's basically, what do people say about this company when you're not in the room, or when the company is, like, when you're not in the room. So it's, what conversations is it starting? What kind of impact is it making? What kind of feelings is it bringing in? So that is very important to kind of see. There's a framework right here where the brand kind of puts the vision of the company, the image, which is, a lot of you mentioned the image when it comes to the colors, the emblem and things like that. That's part of the image. And then also the internal culture. You know, all the people who work for a company, they are like the walking, talking billboards for what the company enhances. So the culture, interestingly, a lot of people ignore that part. But what you build within as a leader within your company, it's very important to identify, what kind of leader am I going to be? Am I going to be someone who micromanages and that's what we're known for? Or someone who's like putting and revolutionizing a different kind of things that's changing people's lives? One of the things I wanted to mention is brand is also an accumulation of a lot of tiny, great moments. Here's an example of me ordering Uber Eats and getting a small handwritten note where it said, "Hi Nida, here's some mints to go with your food." I thought things like this are the little great moments that make up your brand. So what are these little moments? You might want to think about, what are some moments that you want to create that could create this, instead of you just selling a thing, it's an experience that you're bringing to the table. And another way you can develop a brand is by product differentiation. So one of the biggest things that I love talking about is the Southwest Airlines. One of the biggest things that stops you from purchasing an airline ticket is just the possibility of, what if I had to change it? Well, Southwest thought about that as a problem, because they were kind of assessing, what are some problems that people face? Like, why do we get so many people who come to our cart and then abandon it online when they're booking in a flight? And they were able to identify that it was the reason because people weren't sure if they're going to actually travel, or is it far enough. So they removed that from the mix, and they said, no change fees for you guys. So now you can, without any stress, book a flight knowing that within 3 hours or something before the flight, you can get your money 100% back and still be able to. So think of these moments that you can create in your product that can differentiate you. And it doesn't have to be something groundbreaking. It's something that all their competitors are charging fees for changing flights, but you just remove that altogether. And it actually yielded a higher profitability for them, because one of the holdbacks for you would be, hey, how do I, wouldn't that cause a huge loss for the company because we charge a lot of change fees? But in turn, in essence, it actually yielded a higher profitability for them because more people came towards them. Now there are some, I want to quickly go through some of the things that you can incorporate in a product that Islam already has. How many of you knew that return policy is a very Islamic, it's a hadith that refers to return policy? Anyone? You knew about that? That it's an Islam. It's amazing. The West implements it on every big company. You see it that there's a return policy. If you go in the Muslim world, there is no return policy. But it's amazing how you can incorporate this Islamic. And I put in some references in there that you can go through. I'll share the slides with you. That's an example of Costco. They have the best return policy, by the way. And then let's go to the next one. You're at eco-friendly. So being eco-friendly in Islam, Prophet Muhammad has said, if a Muslim plants a tree or sows a seed, then a bird or a person or an animal eats from it, it is regarded as a charitable gift. There are so many companies out there that are promoting eco-friendly. It's the hip thing to do right now as brands. And a lot of young customers are kind of gravitating towards those brands. How can you become eco-friendly and bring that niyyah that I'm doing it for the benefit and for Allah? And one of the examples is the Honest Company. Their brand promise is protecting human health and not compromising on performance. So little things like these. There's a few other ones. Charity in Islam, we all know about that. Tom's Shoes is a great example. One of the first companies who started donating a shoe for a shoe. So you purchase one, I donate one kind of thing. And then sustainability. That's a huge thing right now since H&M and all those came under heat for not using proper labor to get those, and the sustainability of the cloth isn't something of a matter. And so now they're making these after the fact, after the brand damage. They're trying to make these promises that don't let your fashion go to waste. But in Islam, wastefulness is already such a core aspect that we need to incorporate that in our business. So, and then social justice, of course, that is a huge thing. I know one of the main things is as you become powerful entrepreneurs, you will have the power to change things. As big companies come out and kind of support Palestine, and Ben & Jerry's was one of them, where they said they made this social change, and that makes a difference when you are someone. So make sure that that's the reason why you're becoming bigger entrepreneurs. Why can't we be the one with the biggest, Snickers, a Snickers bar alternative, or a soda alternative, or a drink alternative? If liquid, what is that? The water company, remember? Liquid Death, right? That it's just water in a can. And they sold millions and billions of cans just by selling a concept. For us as Muslims, we should be able to do actual problem solving and reach that same level of success.
So everyone enjoying the workshop so far? Any questions so far? Go ahead.
That's a good point, because I was thinking that too, because people do abuse that. But just because Islam has rights as a seller, it also has rights as a buyer. So as a Muslim, as a buyer, we shouldn't be abusing these kind of things in general, so it's one of those things where you offer it, but because the promise is so high, and you would see this over and over again, the more you put out where I trust the community, I trust people, it actually brings so much back to you in barakah that you don't realize that this little issue could cause. For example, what I was saying for Southwest, right? They were thinking that, oh my God, it would cause us a huge profit loss if we're getting rid of the change fees. But in turn, because people are so immensely pleased by it, they actually go out of their way to make you not feel unfair, if that makes sense.
And another business angle to that is for every one person who returns it, there will be hundreds who will not. And they will buy because there is a return policy. They will buy more because they have this concept of, I will be able to return, but most of the customers don't. Okay? So the abusers of the policy are significantly lower than the ones where you sell more because of having that policy. So with that, we'll go into any other questions? Go ahead. So two questions, and I'll answer one at a time, right? The first one is, how do we know if you're not violating the infringement of those patents, and those are published already. So you can go out there and find out. A business idea generally is not patented. A certain aspect of that is patented, right? So you can take a general, like I'm sure Uber has some patent related to how they are doing things. Lyft came in and said that we do that, but we do only better in these areas. So generally that's the understanding. The second is the ethical aspect of it, right? There is enough wealth, and the world has abundance of opportunities where you can go out there and find it, right? Another simple example I tell people is, these big companies have certain, Walmart is a big buyer of products, right? And they sell it to the third parties. Do you know who are the other ones where you can make hundreds of millions without pinching, and people don't explore that? People sell on Amazon, you know that, right? People sell products on Amazon. There are other such platforms people sell. What are they? Etsy, Walmart, right? So the idea is there is plenty of opportunities for you to go out there and sell it. So when ethically you're learning from it, getting inspired from it. And there is enough business for them to go around, and there is enough business for you to make. Right? Just like every restaurant out there, you can have a similar restaurant with your recipe in it. The same thing applies for a business you are cloning and adding your recipe to make it better. So you're filling a need there. So you're not really ethically violating anything.
I just want to mention something very quickly. So it's a very interesting question, right? Like, it scares us that, oh, am I copying someone, so I'm not going to do this idea. So your idea has to get big enough for that other big company to notice it, for you to do that, which happened to Muzzmatch, actually. Muzzmatch went to a certain point and grew to a certain point before Match.com decided to sue them that, hey, you use Match. Even though, like, it's been around for years, and it really didn't scare them until they got to a growth level. So number one, first you have to understand that it's okay if something like that, if you're at a growth stage and you face something like that, you take it head on. Like, some of the characteristics he mentioned is that, okay, I will do things ethically. I'll start with an Islamic principle of, am I doing everything the way Islam authorized me to do it? If it is, then I'll go ahead, I'll trust Allah and kind of go with it. And then whatever comes my way is from Allah, and I'll take it head on and handle those situations when I head. The other thing I was going to mention, a lot of people do get scared when you have this unique idea, right? And then you launch it, and then a few months later or a year later, you see another company starting, and you get this, oh, why are they doing this? They're such copycats, they're ripoffs, like this and that. I would say change that mindset. If you ever get to a point where you're like at a place where you're successful and someone else is copying it, guess what? Imitation is the best form of flattery, okay? So you have to put that mindset away that, someone else is copying me. Because one of the main things, and I tell this in my company a lot, because a lot of people are like, for marketing strategies, there are other competitors really out there and they're copying you. So I'm like, guess what? By the time they copy us, we're doing something ahead of them. So they'll always be behind us. So always keep innovating within your field and keep reiterating and kind of growing from where you are, and make yourself the competition and not others, and you will be really good.
Another thing is, ideas are dime a dozen, I'm telling you. Execution is important. So just know what are the steps you need to take to make it successful. The company we run, We started in 2018, 17, 18. And since we are in the area, I'll just talk quickly about it. We did not start in medical field. We started in home consumer goods where we designed valves that can control your water flow in the house, right? So, when there is a leakage in the house, you detect it and the water shuts off in the house. You see those things sold at Costco. We designed it in 2015, 16. What happened was there was not much demand for it back then. So we said the technology is sensors. We are using software. There is not a lot of demand for it. It wasn't there back then, and there was no funding available for us to execute it. So we took the same concept. Remember I said adaptability and being nimble on your feet, and we applied it to healthcare. Are we using sensors in healthcare? Yes, we are detecting body vitals from sensors. And we are using software to collect the data and doing analytics and AI on that, right? Exact same concept on the technology, but applied to a different domain, right? So that's something we will talk about in a little bit, right? So, and again, like I said, right, it doesn't matter. You find an idea, four of you will find an idea, only one of them will execute. So all those things, remember that chart I had? Not everyone wants to go through that. Not everyone will sustain through it, right? So be persistent. Say that I will do it. And if there are copycats, like Sister said, that's good for you because that concept must be good. You just have a lot more people you want to sell it to. So coming back here, right, Sister Nida covered the business planning aspect of it. Sit down and do your market research, make analysis of how many customers are out there, and out of those customers, how many of them I need to address, what will be my share, what will be my pricing, do all of that, do the business plan. There is a proper class and course on business planning, so you can take that and it'll explain you how each one of those fit in. But the concept is sit down and analyze it. But the takeaway lesson is don't overanalyze it. The concept, the purpose of this slide is to start. Sit down, make a list and start. Create an MVP, minimal viable product, right? Let me try creating just 2 paintings or just 2 soaps or just 2 something, and let's go out and learn to sell to a local store. Tell them I'm a local business, I want to sell it. Start there and analyze it. Start there and figure out what the customer feedback is, right? The second thing, as you're ready to start thinking about a team you will lead. You think everyone knows everything? I'm good at something, you may be good at something, you may be good at something, you may be good at something. Build a proper team that can complement your skills. It's extremely important, right? Yes, you can build the company by yourself, but more successful companies are built by a team of people. So find out what skill set you're missing and find your friend, your relatives, or hire people who will fill in the gap, right? Everyone will not be able to do everything. So just find, these are my strengths and these are my weaknesses.
One quick note on the team. It's very interesting now. You could create a team members with AI. So let's say you're not good at math, but you do need math to run a business. Like your AI personality on ChatGPT could be your personal, accountant. And like there are ways where you can be nimble with costing right now and use some of the AI features to help you with roles that you're not, your skills are not there.
So I'll snap through the rest of the slides quickly because I think we're near Asr time. So don't take forever to launch. Okay, start with minimal viable products. Start building teams. Start launching and selling. Test your ideas. The next thing is, let's say now we have tested the idea, it works, people are buying, there is good customer feedback. Now is my time to scale up. What does scaling up means? Right? What are different areas you can scale? So I'll go to this slide and then come back to it, right? So growing in the same market. So let's say 2 customers bought it. Now you need to figure out in the same area. Let's say your starting area is San Diego. Figure out how do I sell to more people in San Diego, right? what else do I need to do? What marketing I need to do? What advertisement I need to do? Which stores I need to, which area I need to drive to, and where do I need to drop off free products and stuff? Figure out all those strategies and start building or selling in the same market area, right? The next is introduce new products and services. So let's say you sell one kind of soap, your example. Now see, hey, the tree tea oil, tree tea kind of soaps sell better. Let me find out if there is a lavender soap that sells or some other soaps that sell. So think about all the other products that you can sell in the same market. Find out more customers. Let's say there is an X type of customers who are buying the product. Figure out a Y kind of customers. How do I double the product sell, right? And in some cases, you can also increase the price a tiny bit. An example is Netflix. Everyone know Netflix, right? Their subscription was $15.99, and they had 3 million customers. 100 million customers. They increased the price by $2. Every month they are getting $400 million more every single month, right? So they increase their profitability by just increasing price. Did they have to do anything other than what they are doing right now? No. They added gaming into it. So just think of all the ideas that you can do by selling more, selling in a different area, or cross-selling new products, just complementing what you sell. Now, in some cases, I'll go through this really fast. What are the ways? Somebody has a question about funding, right? What are the ways of funding? Self-funding, bootstrapping. You have saved up money, use that to launch your business. Go to your friends and family. There are people out there who believe in your success, in your hard work, in your ideas, and they want to help you. All you have to do is go and ask. Your uncles, your aunts, your friends' parents, your brothers and your sisters, and anyone and everyone, go out there and ask. There is a thing that to get, you must ask. So believe in your ideas and go ask your friends. Next is small business grants. There are business grants offered by government to support your businesses. There are various categories, and you being a Muslim minority-owned business, women-owned business, certain categories. So utilize all the skills that we thought were our deficiencies are our strengths actually. Being a Muslim is good. Being women-owned businesses are good. There are subsidies in the government grants to give you business, to give you more funding. So utilize that. There are business loans available. There are small business loans up to $500,000, $250,000, $500,000 available. There are grants available from $300,000 to $2.5 million. So utilize those. Explore all of those. The other one is crowdfunding. Open it up, put it on LaunchGood, see how many people want to go ahead and fund your idea. There are people out there who are genuinely want to fund it. They have money sitting, let me throw in $20. Let me know. This is scale, right? This is crowdfunding. If all of you guys put in $50 from this, there's $1,500 right here, right? And we are talking about hundreds and tens of thousands to hundreds of thousands to millions of people willing to do good and help you out. So explore that avenue as well. The last one, this is a tough one, is angel investors. There are people in San Diego, Southern California, Northern California, in the US, there are angel investors who will pour in money in your account. There are PEs, private equities and VCs willing to fund your businesses if you have good ideas and they make big money. Any questions on that? We talked about growth strategies. So this is the last set of slides. Remember, let's revisit the first question we had, right? Why are we being entrepreneur? What's in it for me? Somebody said, make money, make a difference, right? This is one of the options, right? People, from the financial aspect of it, people do business for two things from the financial aspect. Either to do cash flow, that means have passive or active source of income. And second is to sell and make money out of it, to sell the business. So that's what equity is. People do all sorts of business and they build it so big and they sell it out there to the government. So explore that option, right? Keep that in mind that you may build a small business which is making X amount of money. You can sell that business for hundreds of thousands to millions, to hundreds of millions to $1 billion. You know WhatsApp? You all use it, right? You know how much that sold for? $18 billion. You know how many employees they had? 38. Okay? It's one of the most successful businesses. So famous quotes I tell people is, remember this, write it down actually. Do what you need to for as long as you have to, so you can do what you want to for as long as you can. Okay, so I'll say that again. Do what you need to for as long as you have to, so you can do what you want to for as long as you can, right? So we all have our personal goals, and sometimes this financial independence gets in the way. So do what you need to, so you can do what you want to, inshallah. Okay? Yeah. That's it, yeah. Okay?
Okay, the rest, there's just a story. I'm going to tell it when we meet after the salah because we're going to miss Asr if we keep going. So let's do question answers and things like that after salah. Thank you.